Yo, 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 in this video I'm going to show you how to play 4 easier shred guitar licks. Now, these ideas are not easy. Well, nothing like this is really truly easy. You're going to have to practice slowly and steadily and learn each part in small chunks before moving on to the next one. And then finally, you're going to have to build the speed up over time. If I could give you one piece of advice right at the start here, accuracy comes before speed. So if you're accurate while you're practicing, you'll be able to speed things up much more easily. There are timestamps in the description so that you can jump specifically to each lick if you want to. I've put a separate timestamp which will take you through to the full performance where all 4 licks are played at full speed with some scrolling tab. If you want to jump straight to this and miss out the tuition, then simply click on the relevant stamp below. Don't forget you can slow the video down using the YouTube player settings if everything's too fast initially. Our first lick is all about the hammer-ons. We're going to start with an open A, played with a downstroke of the pick, then a hammer-on from nowhere to fret 5A with finger 1, then hammer-on to fret 7 with finger 3, and just practice that a little bit. Then you're going to do the same thing on the D string, and then the same thing on the G string. What you should try to do with your pick though is alternate pick the open string. So down, up, down, down, up, down. Then we're going to go back to the D string with an up, back to the G string with a down, and then back to the D string with an up. So far we've got We're going to repeat this 8 times. Now, the actual repeat is quite difficult to do here because we're in the time signature of 3/4. So what I recommend you do is once you've learnt the general idea and you can play it through once, is do it once, then stop, and then do it once again, and then stop, and then do it once again, and then try to repeat it when you're really, really comfortable doing it that way. It's very easy to get lost inside this lick. Right, here we go. Let me play it along with some slow scrolling tab. 1, 2, 3. Okay, on to lick number 2. Now this one's a bit of a weird one because it involves some pick tapping. In fact, the whole thing's pick tapping. So if you're not familiar with what this is, well, it's pretty straightforward really. You're going to use your pick to tap. So instead of using your index finger like you would do normally on your picking hand, you use your pick instead. Now with the transcription here, you've got to take it with a pinch of salt. I'm basically just doing my pick tapping as fast as possible. So we're going to start by having a finger, I'm going to use my 3rd finger, on fret number 9 on the G. And I'm going to try and use the other fingers of my fretting hand to mute the strings that I'm not playing. And then I'm going to take my pick and I'm going to use somewhere towards the tip of it, but on the side rather than the end, to tap on fret 11. I'm just going to talk through this one because I think this is the easiest way to understand it. We're going to start by doing 11 and 9, 12 and 9, 12 and 11, 14 and 11, 14 and 12, 16 and 12, 14 and 12, 14 and 11, and then 9. And I'm just kind of picking fret 9 as best as I can. Now let's move on to lick number 3. So we're going to do some arpeggios here. You're going to start by playing fret 8 on the high E string with your little finger and then pull off to fret 5. Now interestingly, you're going to start with an upstroke of your pick here. Now the reason why we're starting with an upstroke is that if you start with a downstroke, you're going to end up with 2 picking patterns to remember. But by starting with an upstroke, you only end up with 1. So we're going to play fret 8 with an up, pull off to 5. Then you're going to play fret 6 on the B, also with an upstroke. If you like what you see here, guys, please don't forget to subscribe to the 60 Seconds of Shred YouTube channel. And if you're feeling really generous, then like the video, leave me a comment, because it all helps with the algorithm. So we've got up, pull, up, down, up, pull, up, down. And we're going to repeat that 4 times. Then we're going to do exactly the same pattern on frets 10, 7 and 8 on the same 2 strings. And I'm using exactly the same fingers on my fretting hand and exactly the same sequence of pick strokes. Then we're going to do the same thing on frets 12, 8 and 10. Now there is a big stretch there between frets 12 and 8, so just be careful with that. And then you're going to go back to frets 7, 8 and 10. And then you're simply going to repeat back to the beginning and start again. And we're going to repeat each shape or each pattern 4 times before moving on to the next one. We should also note here that we're playing 16th notes. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and so on. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and... Okay, on to our final lick. This lick's going to start with a fret 17 on the B, then a hammer-on pull-off from 15 to 17 back to 15, and then a slide down to fret 12 on the B. Then you're going to finish by playing fret 15 on the B, and it's quite a short note, that. Playing fret 12 on the G with finger 1, then hammer on to fret 14, with finger 3 and then pull off back to fret 12. And we're playing some fast 16th note triplets here, so you need to do that quite quickly. Then you're going to play fret 14 on the D. We're then going to do a double stop where we play 2 strings at the same time, in this case fret 12G, 12B with your first finger, and give them both a tiny little bend towards the floor. Now this is a really small bend, you're just pushing the notes out of tune. Then you're going to play fret 14G. So far we've got... Then we're going to play fret 14G normally, and then fret 14 on the D with your second finger twice. Just try and give that last note a little bit of vibrato if you can. Then we're going to do some rapid fire pull-offs, starting by pulling off between frets 15 and 12 on the high E. And you're going to use your third finger to play 15, first finger to play 12. Then you're going to do the same thing on the B string, but notice how I started with a downstroke on fret 15 high E, and then when I got to the B string 15th fret, I did an upstroke. And we're going to repeat that twice. Then we're going to move across to frets 17 and 15. Do the same thing. I'm kind of trying to bar my first finger across the B and the high E string without letting the notes ring into one another for increased economy of motion. We're actually going to play that pull off between frets 17 and 15 just once. Then we're going to go back to frets 15 and 12 on the high E. So if I just put that together. Then we're going to go and repeat the high E and the B string. Then down to the G string, frets 14 and 12. Back to the B string, 15 and 12. Back to the G string, 14 and 12. D string, 14 and 12. G string, 14 and 12. D string, 14 and 12. A string, 14 and 12. D string, 14 and 12. A string, 14 and 12. Low E string, 15 and 12. And then finish with fret 14 on the D. Now that is quite confusing. You're going to have to kind of just watch the sheet music as you practice it and make sure that you play the strings in the right order. But notice how we kind of descend 3 strings and then go back up 1 string. 1, 2, 3, back up. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So there is a pattern there that's actually not that difficult to do once you get your head around it. Right, let me just put that section together. Picking wise, I'm kind of doing upstrokes through the descending strings, and then whenever I go back up 1 string, I'll do a downstroke, but I'm not doing that all the time. Sometimes I'm kind of mixing it up a little bit. So try and find your own way to pick through that. Right, let me play along with some nice slow scrolling tab. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video and I'll see you in the next one. See ya.